80 years of waiting, Africa at the UN, and the illusion of equality. Is the UN still relevant? Last week, the UN General Assembly met under a world on edge: war in Europe, conflict in the Middle East, US-China rivalry, and crisis mounting across Africa. Leaders from every continent made speeches. Russia warned of global order unraveling, Israel's leader declared he would not accept a Palestinian state, and in his turn, the US president complained about a broken escalator and a teleprompter failure, mocking the institution's credibility. And as always, African voices called for equality. But why? Why demand equality from a state that has refused to see Africans as equals for more than 80 years? Hi, I'm Samia Mohammed, and this is Analytica Today. This year's UNGA brought fiery speeches and sharp warnings. Europe spoke of security, the Middle East of survival, China and US of rivalry, and Africa once again spoke of fairness. Calls came for reform of the Security Council, for climate justice, for debt relief, for a system that finally reflects the reality of 1.4 billion Africans. But history tells us the UN has always placed Africa on the back burner. Speeches come, declarations follow, but the structure never shifts. The general debate opened under the theme Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development, and human rights. On the surface, the gathering looked familiar. Russia framed the West as undermining stability. Israel doubled down against Palestine. India spoke of new multipolarity. And African leaders used their moments at the podium to press familiar demands. They asked for reform in the Security Council, debt cancellation, climate justice, fair trade, and stronger voice in global governance. South Africa, speaking on behalf of many, lamented that despite pledging equality, too many African nations remain denied meaningful influence. Meanwhile, the global stage added its own drama. President Trump, during his speech address, remarked, "All I got from the UN." President Trump, during his address, remarked, "All I got from the United Nations was a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter." He accused the UN of delivering empty words instead of solutions. He said the UN has tremendous potential, but is not even coming close to living up to that potential. For Africa, that line stinks, because for decades, the continent has carried the consequences of that failure. The spectacle of broken escalators and teleprompters is more than a media moment. It's a symbolic of what many see the UN's machinery is broken for those it said it would protect. Africa's leaders asked again for reforms. They reminded the world that international law often seems selective, that coup sanctions and interventions have been imposed on this continent more than anywhere else, that unfair trade and debt rules suffocate development while charity is offered as substitute for justice. And the reality is visible. The wealth gap is bigger than ever. The powerful still write the rules, and the weak still live under them. So why keep showing up? Why keep asking? Because walking away from the UN means stepping into something worse. Because some system is better than no system. The UN may be ineffective, biased, and slow, but without it, there is no floor, only the law of the jungle. In the world, the strong take what they want and the weak are left with nothing. So perhaps that is why African leaders still speak at this broken stage. Not because the UN has delivered justice, but because of hope. Because without it, there would be no stage at all. And for Africa, whose history has been shaped by centuries of being silenced, even a flawed platform is better than none. The UN has tremendous potential, but until it truly lives up to it, Africa's presence there will always be a reminder. Equality is not a gift to be granted, it is right to be claimed. That's all for today. Until next time, I'm Samia Mohammed, and this is Analytica Today.